Cool. All right. So
Awesome.
good morning, everyone. Zach Pitts is here with a Better Home Inspection. If any of you saw any of the avocados that were in the office, those came from Zach. So thank you, Zach. And I hear that there might be more on the way, so keep an eye out for those. We haven't had a home inspector come in a while, and he had some interesting things. I see the Semper Fi Fund logo on the top. I'm sure you'll go into that, but Zach had told me a little bit about that, and I thought that was super cool. So yeah, Zach, whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and jump in.
Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Hopefully you're all nice and awake, and 10:30 is a good moment for you all to start. At any point in time, if you have questions, I'm here to answer them. Many of you are probably well experienced on what a home inspection is. So me giving you kind of a 101 is a portion of this, because there is some critical aspects that are really important, and even veteran realtors of 30 plus years look at me a little crazy when I say a couple things that are actual fact. So to begin, what I'm going to be covering today is really understanding a home inspection and understanding it from our context in the way that we do our process. And that's why it's saying understanding a better home inspection. We do believe that our process is better, only based upon the feedback that we've received from agents. And why I say our process is better is because it helps the agent and the client in real time. So to go into it, everyone always has this kind of question: do you guys pass or fail a home inspection? And as you guys can see right here, it's not a pass or fail. To put it in plain, you could technically donate the trash wreck of a home to the fire department, burn it down, and that foundation is still wonderful that you can build a new house on. So with time or money, you can really do anything, no matter the status of the home. Even if it's falling down and dilapidated, there's still options and availability, just time and money. So that's why nothing is really a pass or fail. So as we go into the first part of this, what I'm going to be going over is understanding a home inspection, the benefit, the knowledge, and the value. And that's going to be for the client as well as the realtor. So for you as well as your client, because your client needs to walk away from a home inspection, we believe, empowered and well educated on the potential investment that they will be undertaking. This allows you also to strategize the decisions that you're going to make. Unlike some experiences that I've heard throughout the industry, where a home inspector actually throws in their opinion about the home's condition and what that may cost the client, our process doesn't reflect that. We will defer back to the realtor because the transaction process has started a long time ago with this client and you, while we are just now being introduced into this process, likely at letter Y or X. We're not at Z yet because the keys haven't been handed off, but we're at the later end of a transaction process and we don't know the client's financial situation. So for us to make a determination on what they should or should not buy should never occur from a home inspector. So going into it, the basics of a home inspection is always going to be a visual inspection, similar to the Avid, but there's a few differences here. While an Avid has you use very restrictive language, the way that you're wording things is to not put so much liability on yourself, such as stains, discoloration. Your verbiage that you're using and how you're presenting that on an Avid is wildly different thing than a home inspector's. I like to tell agents in their first year, never follow a home inspector and do your Avid alongside their home inspection. That will get you in trouble as the realtor. So in a home inspection, there's core functional elements of the home. This is going to be determining the current state of. So to understand that is, if we do an inspection, any home inspector does an inspection, and that night something occurs in the house, such as the water heater busts, a leak ruptures, someone crashes into the garage, accidentally put your foot through a window or a door just because it was an accident. Those all are not reflected in the active status of the home inspection during the time of the inspector. So that is a at that time inspection. Anything after that technically would require a new inspection to update on those results, just to understand that a little bit better. Standard inspection will include a roof, an attic, and if there is a crawl space, that's normally an additional charge. There's reasons for that. We'll go into that a little bit longer. But one of the core functions of a home inspector is as intended. So to put that in common context for your clients to understand that, the home inspector is going to be looking to function within the home as intended. So the window has to open seamlessly. The door has to open seamlessly. Things that happen in the property need to occur as if the natural progression of that. You can't Fonzie the door with an elbow and then have it open and say that that's right. That will get called out in a home inspection. And then that's also presenting to the home buyer of what is the current status of the property. And again, a tactical decision for them to make based upon what they'll be doing with that property. Again, some things are going to be repairs that they make, some things are going to be negotiations, but they need to know what they would potentially need to fix on their own or need to take care of throughout the years of homeownership. So in a scope of inspection, this is going to be what your inspector dictates inside their contract as what they will inspect. So this could be limited by some inspection companies not wanting to do a roof inspection because of not wanting to walk the roof. Their liability risks may go into that, but always great to ask, do you walk a roof? If not walk a roof, how do you inspect that roof? Do you inspect that roof? Do you inspect the attic? Second part is going to be the structural condition, but we are not structural engineers. So some things will require where a structural engineer is called, that normally is foundation issues or a major structural issue. But just to keep in mind, an inspector is not a structural engineer and their inspection will not include those details. Again, this is also going to include cosmetic defects. So scuffs on the wall, various little tiny ugly spots that may or may not be appealed to the buyer will be called out as well as just similar little maintenance deficiencies. And then finally, health and safety. Now, health and safety has a bit of variety as I'm going to go into the next slide, but health and safety is a bigger context term than just this is going to cause you a dangerous health aspect. So going into health and safety, we can talk about a firewall, we can talk about GFCIs, we can talk about a pool requirement, and we can talk about stains and wet spots as being health and safety concerns. And we'll go into why. How many of you here have a pet, like a dog, or have a pet door in your home that goes from the garage to the main house? Couple people. Do you know that that's actually called out in a home inspection as a health and safety warning? The reason being is that the door that goes from the main body home to the garage is a fire rated door. Simply by cutting that door, you have ruined the fire rating for that. Therefore, it is a health and safety concern. You as a home buyer with a dog, do you care about that? That's kind of a bonus. That's like, cool, I don't have to do this myself. This is here, this is comfortable. I like this. That's one understanding of health and safety concerns. A GFCI is another one. GFCI is a really common issue, and if it's close to a water source and does not have a GFCI on it, that's called out as it can be an electrical hazard. That's a simple repair, but again, it's going to be called out as a red item, and those red items you'll want to take into consideration when addressing to your clients and letting them know, hey, this may be called out as a health and safety concern, but this is a very small charge maintenance that we can do literally the moment you get the keys. Stains and wet spots can be called out as a health and safety concern based upon the examination of the spot. A home inspector is never really allowed to say that that is molds unless they have gone through the actual process of testing it. No home inspector should have the accreditations to test mold to where they can hand you back a report and say, I tested this in my laboratory and gave you these results. This is mold. The process should always be that it goes to a third party that is EPA regulated and does have the licensing or accreditations to do a mold test. An inspector can take the samplings, but they have to submit that over for it to be accurate results. If anyone has any questions on mold, I'll answer those in the end, but I understand that that can be a big topic conversation. Microbial growth, leaks, and potential water damage, again, further just continues health and safety concerns. The moment that water comes out, you already know that moisture equals mold in the right circumstances. And then finally, we work with a lot of elderly clients. And one of the things that we call out on our elderly clients is trip hazards. Now, for someone that's 20 years old, 30 years old, very young and spry, they're not going to have much of an issue with a trip hazard. We're going to call it out. Hey, this concrete's raised a little bit, just be a little careful right there. But for an older couple, they may actually find that to be a detriment. It might actually be something that they need to look at as putting a board down so that they can have wheelchair accessibility or whatever is necessary. But it is something we're going to call out based upon our client's lifestyle as well. I mentioned the pool requirements up here. This is the fence and some protection that restricts the pool from being accessed by children as preventing for a drowning. Again, if you don't have children, you don't plan to have children, is the pool a large issue to you? Not necessarily. Do you want it called out? Probably. Going into the variety, though, of repairable or manageable deficiencies. What is the difference in these findings? This is going to be a little vast in what the home can contain. Some of these can be just issues such as improper electrical from a variety of things we've all seen in this local market. We all know that there's been weird electrical systems that have been hooked up for people. We just came into a crypto mining operation house that was called out for electrical issues. Closets had unregulated wiring left and right, just to kind of name a few of those items. What does that repair or improvement really require? Those are things that, while an inspector can give context to, they should never be quoting you on. They should never be sending you a bill or saying, I can do this for you or that. To keep in mind, a home inspection is a home inspection. And at no point in time in 365 days from that home inspector inspecting that property, can they offer you a bid in the state of California. That is the only thing in the state of California that is legally contractable for a home inspector to follow. And I'll go into that in a little bit later down the slides as well. Addressing the concerns, though, for every new buyer, even veteran buyers, there's always going to be concerns about a variety of issues. This could be from, AC, this could be from plumbing, or it could be just aspects of the kitchen being important to the client themselves. But addressing those concerns in a format that allows the client to understand that this is manageable. Everything, again, is manageable. There's issues, of course, but your realtor is standing next to you and they're going to provide you the guide map. This is how our company processes our communications with a client as well. In the presentation, referring back to the realtor, you likely have more than enough resources to source for them to get repairs done at a lower price than what a licensed contractor or professional that may be required in that moment can do. Again, referring back to the realtor is a very good toolkit because you know how to use call outs to your tactical advantage for your client. And again, in the bottom here, the realtor and their experience in consulting with the client. If you provide us information about your client's lifestyle, what they're looking for and what they're concerned about in the home, that should always be a home inspector's first concern. The entirety of the home and the process of that inspection should continue as normal, but extra time should be dedicated to where your clients are most concerned. If your home inspector won't give that to you, I recommend looking for a different home inspector. Your clients deserve more. So going into this, expanding the inspection. Again, what is included in the scope of inspection, and then what is included outside of the scope of inspection? What additional services? Do they have packages? Is this wrapped in with their offer? Just a variety of different questions to ask to understanding what your clients will receive in a service. I can guarantee you, you can probably walk out the door, look around for a little bit and find any home inspector that's willing to do any size home at a set price that looks amazing on paper. The results of that might be a little mixed in how that inspection actually proceeds. So asking a couple questions is like, what do you do on additional services? Do you have drain line scopes? Do you do any air quality testing? Do you have any mold sampling equipment? Do you have the ability to perform further inspections that my clients need? Pool and spa? Can you use a drone to look at the roof in more depth? These are critical questions. I use these first three here, though, as a highlight to the most common issues that we see when giving a home inspection is a drain line scope. State of California, all of us know that building practices up until about the 2000s was using cast iron, and cast iron in the state of California likes to degrade pretty quickly. And within about 20 years, that starts to show integrity loss. That integrity loss is great openings for roots to just burst through. And that is why a drain line scope inspection is critical, because understanding if you have a ruptured line, integrity loss within the drain line, or something along those little circumstances. It could be a full break. It could be the city just recently did road work and blocked the pipe at the exit line where the city is supposed to take over on it. This is a very important undiscovered aspect of an inspection that a lot of people don't necessarily look into. And the reason being is that it's under the ground, it's behind the walls, it's the invisible unknown. And again, a home inspection is a visual inspection based upon what we can see. And that means that we can't see through the walls. We can't see under the ground. So this is that furthering of that inspection. Carlsbad's highly susceptible to it, for example. The reason why we started this was about a few years ago, about 4 years ago now, where a client had an issue where the home backed up after about 3 months of living in the property. The house was vacant before this client had moved in. When they moved in, 3 months later, the water started backing up. They couldn't use their bathroom. They couldn't use their shower. We get a call from the client. The client's worried, doesn't know what's going on. We sent a plumber out and discovered that the line had massive roots that were cutting through it. But during the time of its vacancy, that wasn't an issue because the roots had dried up and died. Within that 3 months, they regrew due to the water sourcing and blocked it up. That's why this is an important service. You don't want your clients to give you a call 3 months down the line wondering why this is happening. The worst and grossest thing that could occur is happening. Second is going to be the direct growth swabs, and this also falls into the air quality testing. All of us know what mold kind of looks like. It's that fuzzy dark growth under the sink, under a couple of crevices where water can be most likely accessible. But a direct growth swab will allow you to identify what that mold is. There's only about 6 or 7 dangerous molds to humans, while there's about 100,000 different mold varieties. So to limit that down is understanding it through a direct growth swab or further going into the air quality testing. Air quality testing is great for when you are concerned about the smell of the home, but you do not see any of the signs that would indicate that mold is present. To give an example, stocky mold is one of the most dangerous molds. And we did an inspection for a property where the agent just said, I want this done. They did the inspection with that air quality sample and it came back with stocky mold, which was behind the wall. There was no sign, there was no indication, there was really no smell. It was just the intuition of the agent. That itself could have been incredibly dangerous and would have been a health warning instantaneously for any client going into it. That is a dangerous mold that will cause them to go to the hospital if they were to live inside that environment. So if you're ever concerned with clients, this is a great question to ask. Following to this is that respiratory illnesses are a very common issue, as we talked about throughout COVID. Some respiratory illnesses can be triggered by high grades of mold present, non-dangerous molds such as penicillium that could incite the fever, hay fever, and actually make it really uncomfortable for a kid to live if they had asthma or really bad allergies. So if you ever have clients that have these types of health concerns, this is always a great question to ask any home inspection company. Anyone have any questions on this section right here? Awesome. So the most important thing in home inspections in the state of California is who you hire. It can make or break your deal, and I'll tell you why. And it's not because the home inspector showing up and breaking your deal. We'll get to that in a second. First and foremost, any which one of you can walk out of your office, or you can just turn on your microphone and say, I want to be a home inspector. I want your work. Nothing at all stops any of you in this Zoom from doing that at all. You can be a realtor. You can provide home inspections. You can have no training, no experience. And the state of California says, cool. That's fine. As long as you don't provide a repair for a home that you inspected within 365 days, that's the only legal requirement that you have as a home inspector in the real estate industry. So who your clients are hiring at that $250 or even lower price point for any size home could be bad, because they may not have experience. It may be their first day ever on a home, and they may not look for the things that are actually critical for you to negotiate on behalf of your client and get them what they need repaired or in credits for them to successfully move into this home. And as we know right now with this market, buyer credits are occurring. We're seeing more requests for repairs, and we're seeing a lot more of these price reductions. So the buyers have a lot more power. Going with a cheaper inspection diminishes their power. So asking a few critical questions is, do you have insurance? first and foremost. How long you been in the industry, second. And the third and final is probably what's your experience or training like? What's your accreditations? Questions like that to ask the inspection company to see what they come back with. All in all, you want to understand what that company is going to be providing to you. And then again, asking for the scope of their inspection or their contract will allow you to examine exactly what they'll be inspecting during the time that they're at that property for you. You want to match the price to the service you're getting, of course, and you want your clients to get the best deal and the best service, of course, but always be mindful of those little details, as the best price may not guarantee you the best service. So I will ask this again. Is there a licensing requirement for the state of California on any home inspections?
No.
Awesome. I'm going to get your name and I'm going to send you a gift after this.
There is a certification you guys can get though, right?
Yeah, but not in the state of California. Like Korea and those certifications are not state regulated though.
They're national, right?
So yes and no.
Oh, okay.
We use INTERNACHI. INTERNACHI is a national standard and it conforms to the 33 states of the union that actually do have legislation and requirements on a home inspector. But state of California, again, none. And California is the ruling law on that degree here. So though you can appeal for, the national standards, going for the states that actually have regulatory standards and things of that nature, those are good and promising for your clients to always get the best results, because you know that the process is going to be more consistent with what you should expect from other realtors in states that have that type of legal statute.
Okay. It blows my mind that California doesn't require it because they're so afraid, they're so used to lawsuits and all this stuff, you would think, but not yet anyway.
I make a joke. It's 365,000 regulatory standards, but not a one for home inspectors. It's amazing. So to give a little bit of context, so I can back our company up and I can pull back the curtains here and kind of give you guys a little show of what we do. All of our inspectors use INTERNACHI as their mainstay for their training course. That's just going to be the best standard for us in our own interpretation. Again, 33 states have that regulation there. That applies to us. We like to use that as it gives us a little bit more meat on the bones. But our guys are required to update their accreditations every year, doing 40 hours or more. We have an internal challenge, which has them getting certificates and every single training that they possibly can as a way of saying, who's going to be the best inspector of this month by applying the best practices to advancing their education. Our company value, our mission and values is simply this: we are great people who care, enriching our community through education. So our inspectors must be educated so that they can educate your clients, so that our community of homeowners is well educated, empowered, and ready to have pride of ownership that lasts and actually makes a significant impact when going back to sell that home. I'd like to highlight that a home inspection can be used as a tactical route to show how you can update that property and also make it more valuable for when you go to later sell it down the line as well. It's a guide map of different things that are wrong with the house that you can bring up to date, or even, make it even better. And that way, when you come back around to your clients and you say, hey, would you like to sell your home? They're like, well, I've done all these improvements. What are we going to be looking at? Can we raise the listing price from when I bought it? There's a lot of questions that a home inspection could progressively allow them to ask and have you benefit from in the long run, as well as themselves. A happy home is a happy home. You can't complain about that, right? So one of the things that I believe and our company believes is the greatest practice of our inspections is simply, we will present on site. But I implore you to ask your inspectors, do you present your findings on site? When do I get my report? When do I get this information from you? And how quickly can I react to it? So for us, we present it that day, we give you your report that day, and we allow your clients and you to have that information walking out of that property. Personally, I feel like that empowers you, allows your clients to see exactly the roadmap ahead, and it gives you the ability to negotiate with them first before having to go to the other side and say, hey, this is what we want. On top of that, your clients are going to walk away after asking you all the questions that they might have had for also the inspector, but also you, and what might be the next roadmap for them. There are times, and I want to highlight this, where an inspection can actually provide enough information for your clients to decide that this is not a good idea for them to buy this home. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that we killed the deal. And I really want to emphasize that point. If your clients choose to take the information that the inspector reported on and said, this is too much of a financial investment for me to take on after buying this home, for me to live comfortably and happily in, there's plenty of other houses out there that they could potentially go for. So this can be used as a tactical means for them to withdraw from their contract. Though I leave that to you guys in that discussion, but I do open that up to say, hey, don't be afraid to use a home inspection to protect your clients. Just try to make sure that we're not calling it a killed deal that the home inspector killed because we gave you more information that actually helped your clients understand that they could get a better home for a better price point instead of this one. So the client's going to receive the walkthrough of that entire inspection. And during the inspection, again, while agents are present at any inspection, ask questions, highlight things that even you're curious about. When a home inspector is present on site, they're hired for you, and that means that they're there to work for you. You and your clients are there. So ask the questions. If your home inspector starts to push back on you asking questions, that itself is a red flag. You want your inspector to be ready to provide customer service to the utmost degree. This should never be a, my home inspector has really bad bedside manner, but really great information delivery. The two and two do not necessarily go hand in hand. But nonetheless, you want to make sure that while you're asking questions, you look for things that your clients are looking for, and you're also making sure that your clients are going to be treated right. They're going to get the information that they deserve. Now, going into what those reports should look like. I have a report. I'll be going through that report with you guys really quickly at the end of this. But what does their report look like? What's the software they use? How do they deliver that format? The worst thing you want to get is 2 pads of paper that says, here's all the findings on it. Have a good day. I'm out. You never want that. You want to make sure that the information that they're giving to you is just as good as the information that you've been giving to your clients and their success. If you're giving them the buyer's presentation package and earning their trust, you're showing them your marketing, you're doing all of these things to show them your value, your clients should never accept the 2-pad page of paper that says, here's your inspection, I'm out of here. They hired you for the quality that you provide them. You should look for the quality of their service as well. So look for informative based reporting software. More images is always better, as nowadays people don't really like to read. So this is an advantage. More images allows people to just see it, understand it, visually contextualize it, and then move forward going from that point. It allows you also to say, hey, seller, these are the things that we want inside our negotiations. Here's the image for that. This is the exact issue. What can we discuss on this as a negotiation? Finally, is that you want to make sure that if there is any software that's provided to you as part of your home inspection, that you understand the toolkits that's allowed in that. So how that may help you and advance your process further with your clients. So going into this, understanding what your clients are going to be looking for. I know that every single one of you guys has low contingency time periods that you're going to want to have. So a flexible schedule, right? Silence on here. Love it. Second one is the technological advantages. Sorry, tongue-tied here. Now, technological advantages goes into, again, what technology are they using? Do they have the additional devices such as a sewer scope? Do they have an air quality sampling test? Do they have a thermal imaging camera? Do they have a moisture detection? Do they have the proper toolkits to present to your client in a appealing format? These are all questions that you want to ask. And understand that there is a technological plateau for most home inspection companies. Only a certain point where we all can get to before we all look the same with what we have for tools and availability for your clients to access. Third, again, they hired you for your personal touch, and that's another thing that we believe that you should look for. The home buying process is incredibly stressful, and you all know that. You all know that a client can literally go from euphoria to dread in milliseconds in this process. So having an inspection company during one of the most estranged, high pressure moments in the process because what you find here could definitely change how you feel about the home, is critical. Someone can go in there with a brash attitude and just tell you straight up, this is broken, that's broken, this needs to be fixed. And your clients may not receive that so well. That actually may scare them. So personal touch is very, very critical. Also, a highlight an experience that complements the service that you provide as a realtor. Your professional handling of your clients is incredibly critical. And to work hand in hand in this process is important. Your lender's been working hand in hand with you. Every other vendor's been working hand in hand with you on this process. You should expect the exact same. Does that mean that your inspector should obfuscate details to protect you? No. Your inspector should never obfuscate anything to protect you and how the home looks. They should provide objective fact for what is there. Straight up. They should not provide anything that's subjective to say, you know, this is bad, I don't like this, and I wouldn't buy this home. A question that we always get is, would you buy this home for our inspectors? How are we supposed to explain that? Would I buy this home? Sure. Could there be some things that I want to fix? Absolutely. Does that mean that this is a good or bad home? No. There's just things that need to be fixed. There's a couple things that need to get updated. New coat of paint. Yeah, I'd probably buy this house. But again, that's not really our choice. This is your home. This is your buy. So our inspector is going to answer it with, hey, there's things that are here. This is what it is. There we go. Your client thinks this is a wonderful home for you. So your agent thinks this is a wonderful home for you. So let's ask them instead. Let's look at what we can do to help you advance yourself in this home and see yourself here. And then going down into that is, again, buyer information, like how a presentation is delivered to your clients is important, because too much information feels like they're being crushed like a can. Too little information makes them feel like they are devoid of critical question, like a critical answer that they have a question to. So again, looking for the format of how that information is provided to your client and looking for the resources that are attached to that as well. To give an example, we have in ours water heaters, and with that, we have associative text information that allows them to understand what a water heater is for seismic straps and a variety of different issues with it. This is just home ownership. This is just something that they can have as a toolkit for when they go forward in later homes as well. Just some little fun little home owner tips, so to say. But those are important because someone may not know that, especially being a first-time home buyer. Coming from a rental property and going into a home has a lot more responsibility that they may not have been accustomed to. So having those little bridge gaps as well makes them empowered homeowners. And as you guys can see inside this picture here, I have Elijah, which is one of our wonderful inspectors. And as you guys can see, he's doing a presentation to our clients with an iPad. This is part of that technological advantage. We do provide the iPad to our clients during the time of the inspection for the presentation. And the reason being for that is that they need a format that they can read and access and go through the information on their own time, as well as when we're presenting that. Our inspectors are using their cell phones that are provided to them for the entirety of the inspection, which then transmits over to the iPad, which then we can then present that report. If your clients are out of state, where you can provide a Zoom or a FaceTime call and provide them that information at the end of that inspection. They don't have to necessarily be at the site for us to inform them. We are well trained in using Zoom after COVID for our inspectors. Our guys are pretty used to it at this point. But you can see that right here, this is how a presentation will normally go at the end of an inspection, where we'll gather the client and the realtor around and have that conversation. We segment time specifically for this part. So part of this is, again, can your inspection company help you proceed through the home buying or home selling process? So we partner and coordinate alongside a termite inspection company. Some of you guys may know them as the Roach people, but we do Creepy, and they're great people. So with us, you can give us a call and we can coordinate with them to schedule a termite inspection alongside our home inspection. We have no subsidiary ownership, so that there is a clear separation here. Our partnership is simply an alliance of businesses in the same organization. We Do Creepy's done an exceptional job through every single one of our clients. So We continue to support them in this form, but we also have a one-time mess up, and then you kind of roll off our referral profile. So if at any point in time, any referrals that we give you in the event that you use our service flop for you, please tell us. We really do receive feedback and actually make changes based upon that feedback. So I invite you all, even if you don't use this and you just want to tell me what a cool thing this last inspector did, and hey, you guys should do this, I'm here for it. I'm here to listen. So for this though, again, you can just give us a call. We can coordinate your termite inspection for you. That's part of the home buying process. So if you want to have that second access, that's there. Our company is at least looking forward to providing more options and availability for you guys in this source. So whether it be termite to solar, we're always looking to try and include partnerships to provide more value for your clients. So I'm going to go into my questions. But first, what are the main questions that you want to know for your clients is my first invitation on this one. What's something that you would like to know as it pertains to your clients? What part of our service do we provide that's important to you? Or even, hey, this is what my inspector does. Do you guys offer this? Or my inspector does this that I don't like. Do you do that as well? Yes, Nancy?
Yeah, I just have a question. I know you're in San Diego and stuff, but a lot of my clients are in like Redlands, Hesperia, this side of the world. Do you guys also do home inspections way over here?
So our farthest home inspector is in Hemet. So he can range about an hour from his home. So Redlands might be a bit of a stretch, but in those cases, we can always do advanced scheduling, and we can coordinate with you and see if we can make an availability for that. We are flexible. We'll make a range. We know that right now everyone's kind of hurting for home sales. So you can imagine home inspections are hurting too.
Yeah.
Concessions for that.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Anyone else on any questions? No?
How many inspectors do you have?
How many inspectors do we have? So as of right now, we have 9 inspectors. 4 of them service our Riverside County and 4 of them service our San Diego County. You can see 3 of my San Diego County inspectors right here. They have a good old time. Our team culture really looks to do that more often than not, to be honest with you guys. Our hiring process allows us to go through 3 stages, and then we finally take that person that we're hiring out to dinner with their family to see how they interact with the wait staff, how they interact in a real life scenario. We're really looking for people that are going to not only make your clients feel very welcomed during the home inspection process, but feel good afterwards. A mantra that we have in our office, and one that I've been pushing for years, has always been experience. Your experience in a home inspection matters. Your experience with a realtor has always mattered. And in life, that's all we're really living for, is experiences. And as long as we are continuing to provide a valuable and rewarding experience, and we make the clients feel very good at the end of the day, even if there was horrifying information revealed, we still want them to walk away experiencing something that gives them empowerment, allows them to be smarter and more adept homeowners.
One more question. So when we're going to book an appointment, do you have an online process for that? And if we establish a relationship and have, like, for lack of a better word, a favorite inspector or someone that we want to work with, are we able to choose an inspector directly?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I have a lot of weird sayings in my own department here, which is for your question about accessibility for booking and scheduling. A mall is only as good as many doors are open for people to get into. And the same way goes for a home inspection. So for our accessibility, we have our office manager, Chris, who works from 7:30 in the morning to about 4:30 in the afternoon. She's wonderful and awesome. If you book an inspection with her, you'll probably find that's enjoyable in its own. But we also have an online scheduler, which allows you to book just on the schedule, not having to really interact with anyone, just click of a button, bam, bam. And you can also have your requested inspector for that. And then the third and final one is after hours call center that we have that can book an inspection for you. Not the most personal touch conversation, to be fair with you. When you call into our office and you've done a transaction or 2 with us, Chris makes it out of her way to really make you feel welcomed and a part of our team, because we are part of your team in that moment. On top of that, our inspectors are always looking to be your inspector. They have their own competition in the office for Inspector of the Month, which they strive for really hard. And part of that is actually requests. So being a favorite of an agent is absolutely a top priority for many of our inspectors. And to be honest, Sam right here, he works mainly off of referral requests himself. Most of the agents that request him for his jobs, it's purely request. Honestly, I would love for you to request our inspector. I would love for you to have one favorite. I'd love for you to have favorites from all of our guys. But if there's ever a problem with an inspector where you're like, this wasn't for me, this guy, great job, wasn't for me though, you let me know and I will help facilitate for an inspector that's going to fit better to your client's profile as well as your own. My role is your facilitation of more successful inspections. So as a marketing representative, I'm looking to make sure that your business with us is always better than the last time, until I can hit that plateau of we're just doing absolutely wonderful every single time, because I don't think I can go higher than that. But I want to make sure that every single one of you, when using our company, feels accepted, feels part of the team, as well as feels like your clients are getting the value that they really, really deserve. Because again, that's what's most important here. Your clients deserve a whole lot more than what most home inspection companies are really willing to offer. I've been in this industry for 6 years studying multiple companies, and I can say that I see a variety of differences in what home inspection companies provide based upon the status of the company and the infrastructural setup that they provide to the client. And that includes you. So when you've done a transaction with us the first time, after that, you can request your real estate dashboard from me, which then you can set up as a bookmark inside your phone, which then you can click on that. And the moment you know the time available for you to do an inspection, you can start to book it from your phone without ever having to call anyone. Hey, Zach, my clients are really tight on money. This is the home that they think that is it that they can afford for. What can you do to help me? I'm there for you. That's the type of work that we're going to do. So to add on to that, we all want to be your favorite. The entire company wants to be your favorite. We're going to try to help you. We're going to try to help your clients, and we're going to try to make it as available as possible for your clients to succeed in getting their next home. I'm tired of seeing people get chased out of homes when they have the opportunity to get into a home. Anyone else have a question on what they would like to see for their clients? Anything like that?
I just have a question. So when we, if we want to schedule both a home inspection and a termite inspection at the same time, I know you guys partner with We Do Creepy. If we wanted to get an appointment for both of you guys to do at the same time, do we guys just call you, or do we call both of us? Okay.
We'll do the coordination with We Do Creepy ourselves. So you really wouldn't even have to deal with it. You can if you'd like to. They're great people, but if you don't want to make that extra phone call, we can do it for you.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, we look to try and make that so it's a more consistent thing. So any partners that we do include, we will offer if you want to have us call them and facilitate that organization for you as well. It may not be the same day, as though there is sometimes where there's conflictions where it may need to be the next day, but nonetheless, everything will be presented as We Do Creepy does and as we would. Awesome. I'd like to ask this: what's some of the challenges that you guys face in your current market with home inspectors, and some of the things that you've had as a challenge? You know, buyer pushback, bad experience with an inspection company. I'm not asking for the inspection company, by the way. I'm just asking for the experience. I love stories, and I'd love to hear them from you guys.
The inspection reports are too many pages. The clients freak out when they see 90 pages of a report.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Though, when we talk about 90 pages on an inspection report, are we talking about 90 pages of findings?
No, just everything, because you guys have to put good in there and bad. But clients, even though I tell them ahead of time, look, it's going to be really thick. It's not all bad.
Yeah.
Still, when they get the pages, they're like, oh my God, it's 90 thick. Oh my God, all this stuff's wrong with the house. Forget it. We're not going to buy it. So you just got to keep them calm and educate them ahead of time before they get that report.
So I'm going to show you guys a report in just a minute after this, and then I'll kind of go into detail on your question here, and show the format of how we present our reports, what that's going to look like for your clients, and also how you can use it better for your own advantages here. Anyone else though before I switch over to the next slide? All right then. So going into this, we're going to do a little quick talk on this one. So average inspection time is going to be about 2.5 hours, could be more, could be less, just based upon condition of the home, various factors with it. Again, 2.5 hours is just about that marker here. Every additional recommendation does have valid evidence and reasoning to back it that will be provided within the inspection report's actual information. So below the element as it's called out with the visual will also be provided with an explanation as to maybe why it was called out or a source for solution. Asking questions will always be better than just saying, cool, the inspector recommended for a roofer to come out and I don't know why. Always ask for extra, even if the inspector was really clean on it and in explaining it. I always ask you to ask more questions. And then again, if you guys want to take a quick little picture of that scan, you guys can. That'll take you right to our online scheduler. And again, like I said, first inspection, real estate dashboard, and that'll help you out. I am going to switch over to our inspection reports and let me know if you guys can see this on the screen. All good on this one? All right, so what you guys are going to see is a home that we recently did. Personally, I like using Martha Robles's inspection reports. Martha's a really great agent. We work with her plenty of times, but Elijah's probably one of our other most requested inspectors. So to give a little show of his great work here. As you can see right here, we're going to have the full report, which has all of these items inside this index here. At any point in time, you can click to that index point and it'll drop you right down to that specific element. But if we're going into it, you'll see maintenance and recommendations, 30 items in blue. Deficient items, 75 in yellow, and then 2 safety concerns. So that's how we are going to separate issues as it breaks down. Going into the summary, you'll get basically a description of the categories so your clients can see that. Your clients will get this at the end of an inspection, shortly thereafter the inspection after being presented this. Likely within an hour to 2 hours, this email will be sent over to them. So as we can see inside this right here, we have some deficiency items. And as you guys can see here, the deficiency items were simple cracks in the driveway, very easy to discuss. And with that, we have the explanation included within that. A little bit more information on these. So again, trip hazard, these are all just going to get called out as is. And again, seeing this information in this format with these annotations, personally, we believe is very helpful for clients and for you when you're trying to exchange with the other side and negotiate for requests for repairs. This isn't the best example for a request for repair item, but just to kind of show some of the toolkits within the report. We use Spectora. Its software is really, really great simply because of these options here. We can annotate, we can place notes, we can have a variety of different information sets put into it. And as we go into, our roof, you can see that with that, we're going to have the ability to pull up more than just one image within a single issue point. So while shingles is called out, you're going to be able to expand further as the inspector is providing it. You guys can see just down the line, just those simple items left and right. So if I scroll up and go to my full report here, go to my safety concerns. So safety concerns. As you guys can see here, we have the indication for that red showing that. And then he has his note within that. And then receptacles and GFCIs. As I said, if it doesn't have the GFCI, we're going to call it out as a health and safety concern because it is near a water source. And we will have the information associated to it with also a link on how that keeps you safe. So we can further explain that, yeah, this is a minor thing. It's a health and safety concern, but in the practicality of fixing this, it is a minor concern. You should know about it though. It's still super important. Going down a little bit further in this, as you guys can see, we can click on the roof and attic, pop into those sections. Electrical and plumbing, which right here, we have this no pressure regulator. And then also we have a graphic for that as well. So there's just tons of these little things that are included within it as little ways to help your clients understand why we're calling it out and to just give a little bit more information. Do any of these things kill the deal? No, not at all. None of them should. But your client should know about it. They should know about it because it's their new home. They should have the power to own that fully and own that within their own soul as well. And again, like sewer scope recommendation, we do have a little bit of here. You'll always get a sewer scope recommendation if the house hits a couple categorical red flags, as we like to say. First one is its age. 20 to 25 years of age in the state of California is an instant first red flag. There we go. Second one is going to be cast iron. That's going to be the second red flag. And the third and final one is going to be any large tree or large foliage inside the front yard or where the drain line is leaving from. So once we identify where that drain is leaving from and we see a tree nearby it, that's another red flag. Again, for whatever reason, pipes just like to burst out here. Trees love to ram through them and just find their way through every single pipe it possibly can. I don't know why we plant a tree in the front yard right next to it, but we do. And that's where this is left. Countless times has this been a problem, but again, it's just another thing to be aware of. And as you guys can see on this, we also do have some infrared here to show differential splits. And again, more technology given to your client so your client can fully understand the home. And this was while this inspection is kind of a messy one in the sense of the call outs where there's a lot of call outs, this is actually a perfect report as we would grade it within our inspection team. The reason being is that everything here was filled out accurately, was presented accurately, and was also given the proper links and associated text to it. Internally, again, pulling back the curtains here, our inspector lead grades and reviews inspection reports on a weekly basis as to ensure that no matter who you get consistently the same style of inspection. The personality may be different, but the performance of the job should always be the same excellence that you should expect from us or from anyone in that case. And as you guys can see throughout this, like we have an inoperable oven and you can see why. That's a heat register, not getting hot. Just not doing it for us here. Going down, again, you can see broiler's inoperable. He's got a back image here. So we do carry thermal cameras for our inspectors to cite any of these issues. There's backup evidence to support these things. And then going down, I mean, this is part of why this has been a premier software for us personally, is simply because of the accuracy of information that we can provide to you. And again, simple things, very simple things. Do these kill a deal? No. Do your clients want to know about them? Absolutely sure. And then again, going into it. So throughout this entire software, you have your summary. And when your clients are ready to discuss with you on requests for repairs or anything of that nature, we have a little tool for you. So right here inside this upper right-hand corner, I got a repair request builder. And from here, I can take this and I can select images and comments and credit. These get compiled at the end, which I can create a total request amount. I can have all of the information that I would like for it. And I can just go through, we're going to discuss on these two issues. Or we're just going to go through a couple of the cosmetic things that we would like to ask for from the seller for the buyer in the renegotiation. This prints out in this visual format, citing these specific elements that you have. So when communicating to the other side with your 3-page RR, you can have this on the side and say, hey, here's a visual recommendation for you so you can understand exactly what I've written. Again, like I said earlier, some people just don't like to read anymore, and having the images is really helpful. Being able to clearly communicate that this is an issue here, we would like this to be fixed, and not have to be like, no, it's the back bedroom on the southwest side, and it's in that corner nearest the light switch. That's the crack or window that we want fixed. Instead of having to, go through that, you have these images as your source document for it. Once that's done, you can create that and you can have that for you at any point in time. I also like to recommend to agents during the time where request for repairs was literally not going to happen, was sending that image-based document over to your contractors that you know in the local area so that they can provide bids for your clients on any type of repairs that they wanted done as well. It's a great way of communicating back and forth between multiple vendors and having them get to see exactly what's available for them and price points as they adjust as well. Does anyone have any questions on the report itself? No one's got questions on the report? Awesome. Anyone have any questions in general for the inspection service as it holds up? Anything you'd like to see us talk about? Just checking chat, make sure I'm good here. Awesome. So going into it, I do want to talk about Semper Fi now that I've gotten through most of the fun stuff, so to say, and I'll talk about the better stuff that we have here inside our office. As of last year in June, we partnered with Semper Fi and America's Fund. To give a context of what Semper Fi and America's Fund is, it is primarily a veteran and active duty service member foundation providing them critical assistance, financial assistance, and housing assistance. The housing assistance was a big one for us, as that was, again, real estate, home inspections, housing assistance for veterans, all of these things connect for us and really touch our heart. But we decided that in that moment with our partnership that we would take $5 from every single inspection that we do and donate it to Semper Fi and America's Fund. Last year, starting in the middle of the year, we donated $5,000, close to $6,000 to the organization. For every dollar donated to that, only I think about 92 to 94 cents goes to the actual cause, while the remainder of that goes to the administration fees. That's how big of a impact that the money makes per dollar. The second one is that we got to choose where it goes. We got to say where that money was going to be delivered to. We got to say that that was going to be in Camp Pendleton. That was going to be in San Diego. That's going to impact our local area instead of just giving them the check and saying, do what you want. We actually have a little bit more power. As of today, we're over $10,000 that we'll be donating. So I ask you guys, give us a shot, at least to give us the $5 to donate to the cause. Hopefully you'll see that our service is worth it. Hopefully you'll see that our service is looking out for not only your clients, but yourselves in having a proper and fluid transaction go seamlessly. Because a home inspection can cause a heartache. It can cause issues left and right for your transaction and actually stop it in some cases. We don't want that to happen. Semper Fi and America's Fund, though, is one of those things that we're just going to do whether or not you guys clap us on. We love it. The founder of the company, Ray Forrester, was in the Army. My father was inside the Marines. My stepfather was inside the Marines. And most of our staff has connections directly to or indirectly to the military. Elijah, inspector here, was previously a Marine. We love this foundation. I really can't speak more on it other than just saying what it does for our community is impactful. The fact that we can say that it's here and localized is impactful, and the amount that gets donated per every dollar makes actual impacts in comparison to other organizations. If you guys would ever like to be coordinated with Semper Fi America's Fund, just give us a call. Even if you're not using us, we'll be more than happy to help you guys out with coordinating with them. They do tons of great organizational efforts with veterans and also the active duty community. So regardless, if it's just something that touches your heart, you can find out about it more on our website and learn from them directly. You can see that we're also on their website as a partner. So just another thing to kind of solidify our credibility and saying we actually do donate to this every year throughout. So I ask you guys simple question, like our founder had said, Ray Forrester back in the day, you don't get kisses unless you ask. We changed that to you don't get business unless you ask. So I'd like to ask for you guys as business. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the avocados. I do plan on having some of those dropped off. If anyone wants to know that story, I'd be more than happy to share it, but nonetheless, we are the avocado guys. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? I got one in the chat. Let's see. What's the Avo story? Okay, so 30 years ago, the owner of our company now, Danny Forrester, him and his mom and his grandfather and his mom both were home inspectors. Unfortunately, Danny's mom did pass away prematurely, and Danny lived with his grandfather for most of his upbringing. Danny started at a very, very young age just checking electrical outlets with the tester. And that's why he says he's been inspecting for almost 30 years. So when our boss says, I've almost been inspecting for 30 plus years and he's in his 30s, you'll know why that's kind of funny. So they weren't getting a lot of business though. And we are based out of Fallbrook. So Ray and Danny are sitting there and Ray's wondering, how can I make our business grow? How can I get us to have more clients? How can I get in front of more agents? So they started boxing up some avocados because they were really ripe. They didn't really know what they were going to do with them. They just had a bunch of avocados and said, okay, we'll put them in a box and let's go down to his grandmother's office, Virginia's, and go visit. So they started handing out some avocados at the office. And then they went to another one and did it again. The phone started ringing. So for 30 years after that point, we have been handing out avocados by going to offices and handing them to you directly. It is all just because of one little family moment of our story. But that talks to the family orientation of our company as well. It's from the root beginning that Danny kept on pushing this one narrative of, hey, let's hand out avocados, let's hand out avocados. And if any of you guys knew Ray Forrester, he was 88 years old, still carrying a bag of avocados in to hand them to you guys and to tell people to get to work. Because that was the type of founder that he was. He was an incredible guy. Unfortunately, when he passed away, that was a little bit of a hit for us inside the company. And Danny took over and has been leading the company for the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years now. And since then, we've been doing more and more to increase how we perform inspections, providing more for the clients and providing more for the realtors than we had originally done 30 years ago. So I always ask you guys, if you guys are really curious about the makeup of our company and you want to see more of this internal story, just give us a visit on the website and you'll see everything there. And if you'd like to know more on how we can help you, or you just want to have us as a home inspection company help you on your next buyer orientation, buyer seminar, whatever you want that we can provide some help to, I ask you to send me a message and we'll help you out. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys having me in. Zoom is always a little bit off-putting for me because I love to be inside in-person meetings and chat with you guys. So thank you for kind of dealing with my hiccups on Zoom. That's always my weird thing, but I really do appreciate all of you guys showing up, and to the brand team, you guys are great. Love all the things you guys have been doing. Like, this is amazing. You're a great team here. My email is Zach@Forrester Home Inspections. Please send me an email at any point in time. If you just want a second opinion from a different home inspector, we're there for you guys to support you. You don't have to use us to get us to support you. That's my promise. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach.